This is More Knowledge, More Wealth with your host, Gabriel Shahin. Gabriel is a certified financial planner and a registered investment advisor at Falcon Wealth Planning. This show does not intend to provide personalized investment advice through this broadcast and does not represent that the services or securities discussed are suitable for any investor. Investors are advised not to rely on any information contained in the broadcast in the process of making a full informed investment decision. Now here's your host, Gabriel Shahin.
Good day. This is Gabriel Shahin, certified financial planner and your host of More Knowledge, More Wealth here on every weekend, talking about all important topics of personal finance. My job is to go over the knowledge you need to increase your wealth. Now, to the listener, you can always reach out to myself or any one of our colleagues here at Falcon Wealth Planning. Our phone number is 855-963-2526. That's 855-96-FALCON, like the bird. Or visit our website at falconwealthplanning.com. That's falconwp.com for short, where you can go on our Knowledge Center, which gives you a direct link to YouTube, where we've had well over 1 million views, multiple videos that help answer the questions that you have. And if you want to put an inquiry so we can talk about it on the show or create a Knowledge Center video, please send your inquiry to radio@falconwp.com. That's radio@falconwp.com. And also you can go get this episode, any one of our previous episodes on Spotify, podcasts, you name it, folks. Now, I'm the president of Falcon Wealth Planning. We are a fee-only, non-commission, true fiduciary, folks. And we talk about all important topics of personal finance. That's where you are today, how retirement looks like, investments, estate planning, insurance, folks, you name it. Anything that involves a dollar sign, we can help you with. And we are offering 1 to 2 meetings, 1 to 2 hours of our time, folks, at no cost to help relate this show to your specific situation. And we have offices all across the country that we can help you with. Folks, give us a buzz. Our phone number is 855-963-2526. That's 855-96-FALCON, like the bird, where we can help answer those questions that you have to help with your financial situation.
Lots to talk about today, folks. Always we have lots to talk about today. But my goodness, let's talk about the fun stuff first. I know we've had a new president, so many things that they brought into office. A lot of these things are going to impact the economy, especially now, just talks just alone on doing tariffs and no income tax. Absolutely interesting stuff here. But let's just have fun. Super Bowl Sunday coming up. And who do we got? We got a Kansas City. Oh, I should say the NFL Chiefs. It seems like the NFL wants them to win for the sports fans out there. And then you have, of course, the Philadelphia Eagles, some of the most interesting fans in the world. Those football fans know what I'm talking about. But jokes aside, we got here a really good Super Bowl going up. And then I like looking at the economic impact of the Super Bowl. It's been in my home city. Well, actually, like L.A., technically my home city, but we have home city of Phoenix multiple times now with their stadium. So a lot of data from last year's Super Bowl or a couple years ago. But annually, the NFL contributes about $5 billion to the U.S. economy just from that, which is just interesting. I mean, the economic impact of the Super Bowl is roughly $1 billion. In 2023, the Super Bowl held in Phoenix is $1.3 billion of economic impact, which was a study done by ASU, my alma mater. It's just interesting when you see all this. I mean, it's just, there's so much that goes into this. So many people turn on the television and watch the Super Bowl, and the economic impact also for people just around, just from the taxes that are generated. This is from Super Bowl. What is that, 58? Is that what it was from last year's? And you have what? Almost $34 billion in tax revenue for state and local governments. And that's 34 million, not billion, $34 million. So yeah, it matters. People want the Super Bowl, especially when you look at the economic impact that it has, the tourism and so on, everybody that's coming there, and it's putting your city on the map. It is super, super cool. So just thought I would share that with the Super Bowl. So we'll be excited to see who wins. I'm not sure who I'm cheering for. You got Mahomes against Jalen Hurts. You got Chiefs, which I feel like they've just been helped so much by the NFL, so many missed calls and so on. And then you have, the Philadelphia fans that are just wild and rambunctious. So I'm just hoping for a good, clean game. Let's not give calls one way or another. Let's just let the best team wins. I will be happy with that. I got no skin in the game for this Super Bowl. So now I finally got that out of the way, right? I had to talk about the Super Bowl a little bit, right? We got to have some fun. So let's discuss and let's go over some of Trump's changes and impacts that he has had. By the way, folks, if you are joining me, this is Gabriel Shahin, certified financial planner and your host of More Knowledge, More Wealth here on Every Weekend, talking about all important topics of personal finance. And today I was going to go over with you just some of the changes and impacts that President Trump has had in like the first couple weeks in office. One of the most recent ones that's come up that has just really gotten a lot of publicity is over the weekend. You have what happened with Colombia. Now, I'm going off memory here on this because I have a whole list of things to talk about. But what happened with Colombia was absolutely crazy. So he put all these people on a plane from America to send them to Colombia and say, take your people back, assuming they're criminals, so on and so forth. Colombia's like, no, we haven't vetted these people. We don't know who you're sending. We're not going to take them. They're like, listen, you have to take it. They said, no, we're not. Plane got sent. They got denied to land. And Trump went out and tweeted, not so much tweeted, but said that, okay, we're going to do a 25% tariff on you. After a week goes to 50%, we're going to hold you up at the borders. We're going to suspend visas or give problems with visas for you, family members, and so on. Hold you up at the border inspections and customs and so on. And pretty much we're going to give you pain. Well, less than an hour after that, the president of Colombia said, oh, my goodness, I'm so sorry. I will fix this. And Trump said, okay, well, I will pause me implementing the 25% emergency tariff, but I'm still going to hold you up on the customs and visas and along the border. So it's crazy. It's just what was the biggest news that came of this was that just the America's coming back as just a powerhouse. Don't mess with us. The counter to this is, like, are we just going to be bullies now? Because, and by the way, same thing happened in Mexico, and we looked to ship to Mexico, and they denied us. So, like, what's going to happen with them? They're supposed to be, like, one of our allies. And so that's going to be an interesting thing. Right now, their president, Mexican president, and our U.S. president doesn't seem like they're getting off on the right foot. But not to digress too hard there, but it's just interesting. The negative side of this is what? Well, the negative side is, well, what, are we just going to bully everybody? Hey, are Canada going to be America's 51st state? Hey, are we going to try to take over Greenland? Like, if we're just going to consistently push around, and we have issues with China, if they don't want to listen or comply with tariffs or whatever the case is, well, what are we going to do? Like, are we going to just seize their Chinese land? Like, there's a lot of things. They have a lot of farmland here in America. So there's just a lot of things that are going on right here. And Trump, yet again, in addition, he is sending multiple people to south of the border. He's sending military south of the border to help protect, rebuilding the wall that was taken down. So just a lot of things that are happening. And so also what Trump has done, he is proclaimed pardoning of January 6th Capitol rioters, right, wrong, or indifferent. Rioters, excuse me. That's what he's doing. He extended an executive order delaying the TikTok ban. That's for 75 days. Now, what's crazy is I could have swore he didn't like TikTok. He wanted to have somebody buy it from them. He wanted to shut it down. It was crazy. So now what? He's pro TikTok? Well, it's crazy because he actually thought of the economic impact that it has for all these TikTokers making a couple $100,000 a year. Like, it's interesting now. He's kind of more capitalistic minded. So what is the impact of tariffs? Well, the tariffs is they're going to have to pay more money for the goods that are coming to America that they want to sell in America, and vice versa, what they buy from us. So yes, these are some issues that is happening with them. So it impacts them from an economic point of view. And I'll take it a step further. Trump is getting a bit comfortable here. Why am I saying that? Because now he's even thinking, hey, we may not even need the income tax. And he started referencing from the 1800s to 19 teens and so on, saying we didn't even have an income tax because so much money was coming in through tariffs. So much so they had so much money, they didn't even know what to do with. So America started building out other organizations and spending their money in other ways. So that is like on the table for him. He's just discussing, and supposedly he's looking to lay off some workers, about 80,000 or so workers from the IRS. So I'm not sure what's going on, but the con that people have from an economic point of view is this president maybe feeling more like a dictator. He's pushing around, bullying around, trying to get his way so much. Is it more of an impact and an issue there? So that is something that is very important that people are concerned about, and I get it. Also, withdrawing from the World Health Organization, we'll see what that does. That's interesting. I'm sure there's some economic impact there. And then look at executive order on hiring and firing federal employees. He also is taking a stance on two genders, okay, right or wrong with it. That's just a very aggressive stance, so much so where he was actually even positioning for trans people in the military to have them removed from the military. So that's also interesting. He's calling them mentally unstable. Now I know there's some public figureheads that obviously the way they're talking, forget the way they look, just the way they're communicating, they're not doing the transgender community any favors. But to imply that all of them are similar to these one or two people that are commenting and posting, representing the masses seems a bit extreme. So people are kind of like, oh my gosh, what else, if he doesn't like, is he going to force upon us? He's revoking security clearance. He's a proclamation of a national emergency south of the border. He has a memorandum on resolving delays for security clearances. He's also on trade memorandum. Executive order on plans on troop deployment to the borders, which, yet again, I feel like I'm reiterating here. Suspending refugee resettlements. Also birthright citizenship, which, by the way, there's already been lawsuits on this that have come out. So people are freaking out. Well, if I'm pregnant right now and I'm illegal and my child is born here, they're going to be a U.S. citizen. I mean, it's our 14th Amendment. That's going to be a very difficult one to overturn. Let's see here. We're looking at, this was an interesting one that just recently happened last week, and that was President Trump having signed an emergency order to ignore the Delta variant and the water that's not flowing from the north to Southern California, to force our California government to allow them to move the water down south. So just interesting stuff. So yet again, what is the concern? Well, maybe if Trump doesn't like you, can he just now do whatever he wants? Some people that are pro this, right, they're like, we need water. Look what happened with the LA fires. You know, some people are positively taking this into account, saying, finally, we have some logic. But the comment is, what if there is something that's illogical that he's still going to aggressively push and claim as an emergency? This is the con of it. Too much power reigns dictatorship. This is a democracy. It's what everybody wants. Now, the counter to that, of course, is, well, is California, what's happening up there? That's an executive order by our governor. That's that what everybody wants, where everybody always says, oh, we have droughts, when in reality we have more water than we need. We just flush it into the ocean. So these are economic impacts for farmers, extra costs. These are economic impacts for people that are paying more for water because of the quote-unquote shortage that's going on. It's crazy how it just doesn't end. There's more here to talk about, folks. Let's take a quick break, and we'll be right back after a few words. This is Gabriel Shahin, Certified Financial Planner and President of Falcon Wealth Planning. We wanted to offer you a free financial assessment for listening to the show so you can help relate it to your specific situation. We offer multiple services such as retirement planning, where you are today, how retirement looks like, talking about Social Security, real estate, planning, even if you own a business, talking about taxes, not just how to save money today, but also throughout retirement. Talk about investments, making sure you're avoiding those high fees, costs, commissions, and also estate planning and insurance, just making sure you're properly protected if, God forbid, something were to happen. And we're offering 1 to 2 meetings, 1 to 2 hours of our time at no cost. Give us a call. We would love to help. Our phone number is 855-963-2526. That's 855-96-FALCON, like the bird. Or visit our website at falconwealthplanning.com. That's falconwp.com for short, and fill out the form fill right there on our site. Welcome back, folks. This is Gabriel Shahin, Certified Financial Planner, and your host of More Knowledge, More Wealth. You're in every weekend talking about all important topics of personal finance. Today, we are just talking about, so far, some of the executive orders, the memorandums that are coming out, where we are aggressively pursuing some changes that President Trump promised. And so the whole thing is, whether you like him or hate him, I mean, these are things that could be very positive, but also things that could be very troubling. Because remember, the stock market likes security. They like consistency. They like to be able to predict. Well, normally through our democratic process, we have voting and slowly going into things. Well, we're now seeing through proclamations and emergency status that our president is aggressively moving towards their initiatives. So some people absolutely love that. I get it. Some people really want protection south of the border. I understand. There's talks on death, death sentencing, or the thing there, death penalty, excuse me, is what I'm trying to say. And there's talks on some of these other aspects that are quite controversial. I mean, some of it is on gender, some of it is on transitioning kids and the severity that he's looking to imply on the teachers that are recommending that. So there are things out there that is just very, very important to a lot of people that are maybe for it. But also on the other side of it, this is one person that's looking to push their belief on what is the best solution. So it is a question of our democracy. So this is just important concepts, yet again, right, wrong, or indifferent. So there's also pausing certain wind energy projects, declaring a national energy emergency, forcing people to come back to work in the office for federal workers. There's just a lot of different things going on. But I'm going to continue going through some of the changes here that our president has done, and a lot of it is really based on the agreements that it has with international people. And for example, I just want to kind of go over some of the basic idea of tariffs. Because if you were to cause tariffs for any international, just a country we do business with, that would make the price more expensive for us. It is a form of inflation. It is a form of rising costs. So his counter to that is, I will just lower your taxes because we're going to make more on one. And if I lower your taxes, it will balance itself out. That's just interesting for two reasons. Number one, the rich will continue to get richer. Let me give you an example. If somebody makes $1 million a year, they're probably paying $350,000 in taxes, just big picture. And so with $350,000 in taxes, that's more money they have based on their money. Versus somebody who has $100,000 of gross income, they're probably paying 12%. So yes, they still save maybe like $12,000, but it's 12% versus a rich person saving 35%. But they're both buying the same good for the same cost. It's not equally distributed. So yet again, the rich will continue to get richer. That is such an important part that people don't understand. So keep that in mind. We talked a little bit about diversity, transgender rights, and civil rights. He repealed a lot of President President Biden's comments there, his actions. Also, the recognition of two genders, male and female, on passports, global entry cards, and all other forms of government identification, such as birth certificates and so on. Federal workers and government structure, the Department of Government Efficiency, which is led by Elon Musk, recommending a bunch of budget cuts, freezing of federal hires, blocking new federal rules and regulations, just a lot of different things that they're now questioning the executive branch of career senior executive services. Just so many different things that are just happening as well. Also, just the repeal of Biden's healthcare initiatives for enrolling in Medicaid services, which is secured under the Affordable Care Act, which is Obamacare. They're looking to cap or remove some of the caps on insulin and a few other things. So many different things. I'm just going through these, and I mean, this is in the first couple weeks. It's just kind of crazy when you're starting to look at all this and just the aggressiveness towards crime. Now, I don't mind this. I have very little sympathy for people who've committed crime. The concerns are obviously those who've been wrongfully accused. And we saw a lot of that with some high-profile people that turned out to be not accurate, where fake claims were brought up against certain professional athletes or celebrities, and they were truly fake claims versus just buy off and go away. So there are some issues there where it can affect people. Now, if it was a false murder or something, or a false crime, these are things that you have to be careful of wrongfully pursuing a death penalty on somebody who is in fact safe. And then when you take a look just in general, the sentiment of all this is what, right? Because this is a whole lot of conversation. But the sentiment is about us, the people. All of these would have to be for the masses where we're comfortable we're as far as saying we are happy with these changes. And so the question is, as we saw Selena Gomez weeping, probably one of the most narcissistic things I've ever seen in my life. She seemed to be very happy when there were innocent people that were being killed by illegals. But now that criminals that are being deported, she seems to be really upset about that. So much so she deleted it from her account, not to digress. But you have to think, who is this benefiting? The one thing that I think is interesting, I read this yet again, there's a lot of facts they left out, and we know our media is very biased, but it was somebody who's been in this country illegally for the past 30 years. And for the past 30 years, they've been here in this country, and now they're being deported. So, the logic I have is, has this person been a criminal for 30 years? I think that's an important question that wasn't answered. Has this person been contributing to society? Is this person paid taxes? I'm just curious. Is this person using government assistant programs, or are they at least paying their property tax, owning a house, paying sales tax? So I just have a lot of questions. Are they a dependent for their child that works here, and they're taking care of them, they're making an income? So there's just a lot of questions that I have on that, because on the surface, it can go both ways. I get deporting of criminals. They deserve to be deported. They shouldn't have even been here to begin with. As some of these presidential tweets are coming out, Colombia forcefully sent us their criminals. They knew what they were doing, and now they don't want to take them back? Well, I'll call bullshit on that. They will take that back. So I was very happy to see that. And setting a tone for other countries that won't comply, saying you will be tariffed, and we are not to be messed with. America for the past 4 years was a bit taken advantage of. There was very good relations, but sometimes it's one step back for infinite steps forward. I'm curious what's going to happen with Ukraine, Russia. I'm sure Trump is probably going to give little concession to Russia. I'm curious what that looks like. But I do know that he does not want to continue to financially support the war in Ukraine and Russia, especially with innocent people dying. So there are so many different things here that has to be taken into consideration that, oh, by the way, is fiscal and economic impact. This is why investing in politics and current events all come together. You have to be able to identify the differences of what's just noise to piss you off to what actually has economic impact. The logic for somebody that is 100% without a doubt guilty, I feel like there should be levels of guilty. Guilty through forensic science, or guilty that could have been compromised, or guilty as in 1,000 people, or let alone 20 people saw this person commit a crime. That is guilty. You get what I'm saying? I don't care what you have to say, that's guilty. And so, but the death penalty, I mean, I know people's logic on that. It has to do with the religion and so on. The economic logic is it's cheaper to have somebody that some would argue deserves to die. And so, it's interesting how our country has come into a country of, you have the people that are offended that aren't even impacted. I'll give you an example. You have the Washington Redskins, where it was the tribe gave approval of the name. They actually gave the art for it. They actually were pro the name. But yet again, you had Caucasians, we'll call it white people, that were offended by it. And this was just an interesting concept. So you're starting to see a lot of people that doesn't even affect them are the ones who are actually offended on behalf of somebody else. I don't understand this logic either. Sometimes people should stay in their lane. And so the idea with all of this is this has impact to moving and progressing forward. We don't want to regress. We don't want to go backwards. So right now, how would I rate the first few weeks of our president? I'd probably say, I don't know, maybe past couple weeks, maybe I'll rate it maybe a B plus. Probably things I would have done differently, but I'm not in that position, nor do I ever care to be in that position, nor do I not envy any future president for being in that position. So on that being said, I give him an A. But yes, nothing's perfect. Nothing's going to appease everybody. And America is trying to get back into the driver's seat for the world. We are still about $6 of every $10 that are spent in the world. We are 60% of the GDP. This is crucial. When you are producing and when you are that important to the world economy, you have to start thinking is, I probably should be able to get a little bit more say, which is also why, historically speaking, America contributes a lot on the World Forum. They give a lot because they make a lot. And Colombia, who thought they can stand up to America, America does not need Colombia, but Colombia needs America. And that's how you have to start thinking for every single country that's out there. The only exception is probably China. China needs America, but America also kind of needs China. So that's going to be interesting to see how it plays out. And Trump knows that, and also President Xi of China knows that. So that will be interesting. In regards to the Mexican leadership over there, that's going to be interesting, because on that same logic, America would like to use and work and have good relationships with Mexico, but it's going to hurt Mexico a lot more than it hurts America.
That was a fast show, folks. I want to thank you for tuning in with us this weekend. You can always reach out to myself or any one of our colleagues here at Falcon Wealth Planning. Our phone number is 855-963-2526. That's 855-96-FALCON, like the bird. Or visit our website at falconwealthplanning.com. That's falconwp.com for short, where you can go and visit our Knowledge Center, which redirects you to YouTube. We have over 1 million views, folks. And if you want us to discuss anything on YouTube, on the show, whatever, send your inquiry to radio@falconwp.com. That's radio@falconwp.com. And if you want this episode, any one of our previous episodes, you can go on podcast, Spotify. We have them all there. And folks, we want to thank you for your trust. We want you to feel free and feel comfortable to reach out with any questions that you have. I want you to have a fantastic weekend. Have a great week, and God bless.